Do you like that image I sent?
The Destiny one?
Yeah, I made that.
You made that.
Yeah. Sup?
That was really good.
I use the AI creator on the Wix page, like
I
I have
mean,
been.
still, like I haven't taken like a deep look at it, but at first glance, it just looked like a promotional image.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I'm waiting for my laptop to catch up with everything, and maybe it's not going to. That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes the text doesn't really flow too well that way.
Whatever. I guess I'll just go ahead and close that out. Quit. Because I haven't even gotten the message on the computer that you were waiting for me.
Oh,
I love how it does say that I have 3 unread. Oh, there it is. Close it, open it back up. Bam. There
sure.
it is.
Why not, right?
Yeah, no, that looks real cool.
Yeah. I was like, dang, that was my favorite of the ones I created on there. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Was this for the last week's?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Which for some reason got messed up, so I had to republish it today.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wait, I was like, I haven't seen anything for this, and I looked at it, I was like, okay. So I don't know what happened, but
Cool, cool.
it's up. It works. I just checked it.
I like it.
Yeah, I was like, that's I gotta share that with the group. Booyakasha.
Booyakasha indeed. Nope.
Yep.
Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. 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 Nope.
Yep.
Did you end up getting that monitor?
I'm debating right now.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you're just like, ooh, it'd be so nice. But do I really want to spend that much money on it?
Because if I do, I want to get a Mac Mini to go on it, so I
Mm-hmm.
can like use that for everything, and my laptop can be used as a laptop, not a fucking recording studio thing.
Right.
So I mean, I was like, I can just do both at the same time. Put on the Best Buy card, do
Slowly pay
financing.
off over time.
Yeah, I was like, So I'm debating. I have until July, I think it said it was. Let me see. When's that thing
Those
end?
monitors are a gateway drug.
Oh, I'm sure.
You buy one of those, and before you know it, you've bought a bunch of other stuff to go along with the monitor, like a computer and desk and other stuff.
Well, the computer and the desk I have, the computer I'm definitely gonna buy with it, but it's just me a Mac Mini. I'm not gonna dive into the PC gaming
Buildable,
thing yet.
yeah, build your own PC game. PC.
Yeah. Yeah, I have until my birthday to use that coupon, actually.
Ooh, look at that! You can give yourself a birthday present.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. So I'm still thinking about it. Thinking if I want to do like a Mac Mini Pro or like just a regular Mac Mini.
Fair enough.
Just the processing power alone seems like the Mac Mini Pro might be a better choice.
Oh, I'm sure it would be. So, how was your week?
Hot.
Hot indeed, I know, right? Especially for you. You are out and about, fixing people's stuff in the heat.
Yeah. Luckily, they only had one job that was in a garage, but you know, yay.
Yeah, still that's completely awful.
Yeah.
How's the first week of Destiny going?
Oh my god, dude, it's so much fun.
Is it?
Yeah, dude, they did a really good job with the story, but also like I didn't know they're doing this. Like I knew they changed the name of some things. Like they had seasons before.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, the last few years they've had seasons where every 4 months. How many seasons they have a year? I think they do every 3 months. They release a new season, and that season has a playable content thing, which is like an activity you can do, whatever, and like new loot, guns and armor, whatever, right? So this year, they're doing it differently. They're doing episodes and arcs.
Now, remind me, because I had this discussion with my brother about how Destiny seasons work. Do the seasons include story content?
Yes.
Like, you have to buy the seasons in order to finish the story, or can you just get the story out of the base purchase there? So, of whatever they're calling this expansion, I can't remember what it is.
If you want the full story, you need to buy the seasons.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And I think that's why they changed it to episodes. Not that it matters, because it's over after this for the most part, I guess.
Right.
Who knows? Actually don't know. And the reason I say that is because, let me explain the whole thing. So, I'll start with answering your last question. Yeah, so you have to, for the whole story, the breadth of it, you do need the seasons, because there's content in those that lets you see everything that's happening. Now, the major story can be gathered just by the base game, but the expansion, obviously, to the base game is where the obviously the continuation goes. So, like, the final shape was the newest one. Then, like, so last year's version, Into the Light, which everyone basically agrees was terrible. The story was all right. It just, the execution of, like, the campaign was not great. But that's a critique for another day. This one, so far, everybody loves, and they're definitely agreed in the community that it's very, very well liked. The gameplay is better. The campaign was a fun little difference to it. They did the same thing they always do. They as they guide you through the story, they let you explore the new area, the new playable area. They let you they guide you through, like, going to the lost sectors, through the strike, and all based around story. And it's cool because they tie the story and cinematics into it, which is pretty rad. And then they, as of Friday, this last Friday, June 7th, the raid launched. That's the newest raid for this season, or for this, I'm guessing the first one. I don't know if there's going to be more or not this year. But the major raid, Salvation's Edge, and that, weirdly enough, led to the culmination of the Light and Dark saga in a way I didn't think they were going to do this early.
Okay.
And it's not over. It's just the spoiler alert for the folks who care. The Witness, who we find out is the protagonist or antagonist that we have been dealing with since the beginning of Destiny. So Destiny 1, there was this force that was gobbling up the universe, referred to as the Darkness at one point, in the collapse. And it started with, basically, Earth, hundreds of years ago, was being attacked by this, and this mysterious thing called the Traveler, as we called it, the Traveler, showed up and was able to abate the collapse from happening. And when it did that, it gave Light abilities to select few, which are the players. But that was hundreds of years later. After many battles have happened, you get introduced as your ghost finds you as just bones, resurrects you, imbues you with light, you become the guardian, blah blah blah. Fast forward 10 years, we get to the final shape. That is where, so actually, a couple years ago, we get introduced to the Witness as this shadowy figure. These pyramid ships show up. They get activated because the Traveler gets basically attacked, and its light gets thrown out, and this basically beacon turns on, saying, "Hey, this is where it's at." And then so the Witness shows up at the end of The year before, yeah, because Into the Light, they, I don't know if I was gonna say she because it's vaguely feminine, but they because it's part of the story is it's multiple entities in one. Uh, has found a way to enter the Traveler and basically take over the power of controlling light. It already has control of darkness. Now it's getting control of light, and it's going to mesh the two together to make the final shape. What the final shape is what the witness believes is what is the perfect design for all life.
Okay.
Not just humanity, but all life.
Right.
That's Cabal, that's the Fallen, that's all of them, everything. And doing this, it's experimenting and splicing. So what it was doing before was splicing darkness with life and causing all the terrible other shit. And then now it has access to light. And it's not fully, doesn't really fully have the access to light. It's trying to break down the Traveler to get to it. And that's what our job is, to stop them from doing it. So if they get that, we don't really know what it would be, but it tries to tell us that it would be if we let it have access to the light, it can make all of our dreams and fantasies real. So anything we've ever wanted in life, it'll give to us. So it tries to break the certain people down to try to help, but obviously the Guardians are never going to fall for it. Well, the good Guardians, I'm sure. Some bad Guardians out there are like, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this. So throughout the story of Into the Light, and actually even the season before, I think, this witness has been trying to break down the different characters. So we find out that the witness is what orchestrated the death of Cade, because the of different followers and stuff, and been using these different characters to manipulate people because it hasn't had access. It couldn't get to them because we were protected by the light. And so like they got really emotional with like a lot of the story. Like they forced Zavala to relive the death of his wife and child, without him being he basically chose to live as a mortal, but not. He was still a light bearer, so he's never going to age. So like, but he was living his life, and then like he was attacked, and his family was killed. And he begged his ghost to resurrect his son, but the ghost can't do that. It's not how it works. And so like that helped. That kind of had this like profound effect on Zavala, where he like stopped his belief in the Traveler. Like this Traveler's not all powerful, whatever, right? So that was a big thing for that. And then this season they really focused on Crow, who is, if you don't remember, Joe, Prince Aldrin of the Awoken. He was basically his sister was thought to be killed in the final battle of Destiny 1, but she wasn't. She escaped into the other realm, which we later helped her get out of. Anyways, story stuff. And then so he got all corrupted by what we now know as the Witness, and he went forward and used the one of the factions to help orchestrate the death of Cade by eliminating his ghost and then killing him. And then we went on that whole adventure to basically to avenge him, and we kill him. We find in a cinematic that really pissed a lot of people off that he was resurrected as a Guardian. But when you're resurrected as a Guardian, you lose all your memories. You don't know who you were in the past.
Okay.
Because that doesn't matter. That's not what it's for. So he shows up kind of in the background, like eventually shows up wearing a mask, and no one knows who he is, and then eventually it's shown that it's him, and everyone's like, holy shit, that's Aldrin. He's the one that killed Cade. What the hell's going on? And all stuff, and then blah 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 goes forward. So in this season, one of the things that pissed me off is they show the fact that Cade's back, but when the story explained that he's not really back.
Okay.
It's hard to explain, but I'll get there.
Okay.
So, when they first tease the final shape, you see Ikora meeting up with Cade around a fire, which is kind of like his classic thing with hunters do. Is when they go on hunter missions, they always have like base camps they have. So I was like, why would you show us that? Why wouldn't you leave that as a surprise? Which still makes me mad that they did that, because it would have been much more impactful if like the day, like you don't show that at all. You tease something, whatever, right? But you don't really do what it is. You kind of allude to it, and then you show it to us. But they didn't do that, which just makes me mad. But whatever. So in this, through the main story, you start off with basically Crow. And the reason why I say if you don't have all the season content, you don't get the full story, because the last season was Season of the Wish, and in that you have to basically help resurrect the Ankara, which is like these magical dragon beast things that can create wishes.
Okay.
And their spirits can do it. Well, we killed the last one, air quotes, and so we basically made the wish wall inert. It doesn't work. But through Destiny magic, that Ankara's ghost or spirit was re-imbued into the wall, so we can make wishes.
Okay.
But there's always like a give and take. Like you have to give something for the wish to come through, right? Be it killing someone's enemy or doing whatever, blah blah blah. So we basically go on this task to find what we find out is hidden eggs of Ankara, so they could basically be resurrected. And then because we do that, this Ankara will then grant us a wish. That wish is for us to basically gain access to the Traveler, because we need to follow the witness and we can't.
Okay.
So everyone decides that Crow apparently is going to be the one we sacrifice, because every time we send a Guardian try to go in, they come back like killed, like destroyed, like dead.
Oh wow.
Like their ghost is dead, they're dead, everything.
Okay.
And they come back as this this mass of like their form reshaped into these weird things. It's gnarly. It is borderline horror story stuff. It's crazy.
Okay.
So they figure out if we use this wish, the wishes are literally kind of like outside of everything. They don't really ever have a stopping point. You can do whatever you want, but obviously you have to balance that with like whatever you give them, but also like the more you give them, the more powerful the wish, I guess.
Okay, I understand
in a way.
that.
So we give them what they want, and so they're going to give us, because they can grant or not grant a wish, however they feel. It's not like you give them and they have to. It's not like a genie thing, right?
Right.
So we give them this their eggs back. Then they let us basically like breach a gate into the Traveler. So Crow's sister has to basically hold the portal open, right? So she's doing that. He jumps through. He disappears. No comms, no nothing. Blah blah blah. Right? Because he's like, in this different world.
Okay.
And so that's how that season ends. And so we go into this final shape where she finally has it open. She can get through, but like we still don't know if Crow's alive, if he made it, whatever, right? So everyone's like, all right, we're just gonna go. Like Savala's gonna go, Ikora's gonna go, you as the Guardian's gonna go, because he's not dead. He didn't get returned to us dead, so we think he made it, but we just don't know. So they just like this is all we have. Is like literally our last push. If Marasov can't hold this gate open, we don't have another way to get back in. So it's either make or break. If we can't get in, the witness is gonna win no matter what.
Yeah.
If we can get in, we may have a chance to stop the witness. So we make that push, and the first part of the campaign is you uh, making your way through the portal, and you interact with all these things from our past campaigns that are being jammed together. So they're different locales that all have been like pulled apart, and they're floating in this ether, and you basically have to make your way through it, and then go and jump through the portal into it. And the entire time, the witness is trying to send bad guys at you, hence the gameplay, and you have to go through. Spoiler alert, we make it through. We come on the other side, and it's a whole world mashed up of different locales from the campaign, but fully formed, but like in this weird, like one is it looks like what we remember, but it's been imbued with like new life, and also parts of it have been it's crazy because it's like it's hard to explain, but basically on the far end of the map, the farthest way, the Lost City, which is the city we live in with the tower, is the starting point. And then as you go in the distance, you see a monolith in the background, which we realize is the witness's monolith because you can see darkness happening over there. And as you get closer, the landscape changes and becomes more surreal. And you realize that's basically I don't realize. You find out through the story that the point we're at, which is what the tower is, the Lost City, is the ideal form of life the traveler had in mind. Overgrown plants, life abusing everywhere. It's just you feel more imbued with light, like more connected to the traveler that way. And as you travel close to the monolith, it gets more and more nightmarish. And you find out that it's basically the monolith, which is the center of everything, is kind of like, well, actually, oddly enough, very similar to how Stephen King wrote The Dark Tower.
Okay.
Right? So at the Dark Tower, the middle of everything, as you get closer, it gets more and more like apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Things are dead, things are like mutated, things like that. It's the exact same idea.
Okay.
But instead of being like, a linchpin this way or whatever you want to say, like the different levels, because as Roland goes, he starts off at like his area and then whatever, right? Same idea, but as you go through, the witness is reshaping those things to try to perfect it, and the farther it goes, the more it becomes this like literally nightmare scape. Like things are reshaped into like hands and faces. Okay. So at one point, I'll send you art. I'll try to post it on the site too. Okay. But there's like trees that when you look at them, you realize they're arms with a hand, and the branches are the fingers.
Weird.
But then you see I noticed later at the good area, there's plants that look like humans. They're human shaped, like topiaries, like whatever. Not topiaries. What's that thing where they shave plants and like the thing Edward Scissorhands did? What's that called?
It is right there.
Oh, it's botany, but like, what is that? There's a thing for that. There's a name for that. Anyways.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So remember in Annihilation, the Alex Garland movie.
Yeah.
Remember how like you saw like the people like turned into plants at one point, like, but they were like monstrous or whatever. Like they walked in the one pool, and that guy was like up against the wall, and he's like fungus, and like, he was like
a plant. Yeah.
It's like that, but they're like Edward Scissorhands plants. Like they look human shaped. That's it. I was like, that's fucking weird. And as I went through, you realize, oh shit, like that might have been a person. Like, right. And then like they were like done. Like this was done to them because you see later on, like there's a part where the very first location you ever play in Destiny is where you get resurrected by Ghost, and it's on a highway bridge leading into the wall they built around the Cosmodrome. And you revisit that place in the campaign as well as just in the public area. And part of it, the bridge that leads to the road that you're found on. In the real world is just a regular bridge that's been devastated over years of war and just not being upkept, is collapsing, whatever, right? And all the cars are rusted. But in this world, the beams and struts that hold the bridge up are arms.
Okay.
It's fucking crazy, dude. It's hard to explain, and I'll show you. Well, I'll send you the pictures and stuff. You'll understand. But then there's like these like jutting up hands that look like rock spires that are like multiple hands morphed together.
Mm-hmm.
That like it's fucking crazy. It's a gorgeous look too. It's just so. And as you go through and you get closer, the walls have faces in them, and like structures are made of hands and arms that you have to like use as like platforms to jump around.
Okay.
It's fucking crazy, dude, and like it's just bonkers. Anyhow, so going through that, you go through the campaign. They gave you, which I thought was weird, but they gave everyone essentially 4 days to get ready for the raid.
Okay.
And what I mean by ready for the raid, not just power level, but you have to actually beat the campaign and do one exotic mission to get access to the raid. And the reason why is because it's story based, and it's all, I was gonna say free, but it's not free. It's all part of the main thing. So if you don't buy the episodes, you don't have to. You're not missing this part of the story, because technically the episodes don't actually start until the 11th of June.
Okay.
Why? I'm not too sure. This is how they decided to do this. So it's weird because normally along with this, with the what would be the season, along with the main campaign that you're playing, you get the seasonal content, which is like a new playable area or activity that lets you do different things, right? So normally that launches at the same time. It does not this time. Episode 1, or Echoes, Act 1, which is what it's called, doesn't start until the 11th.
Okay.
And a reason why, I think, don't know, but this is the reason I think is why, the raid, just like every major raid, has a story element to it, where if you don't play it, you're not missing out, because they give you a cinematic that you see at the end of the raid. Everyone gets to see once it's beaten for the first time. When that happens, you can see that, and that's how the content of the raid, unlike a campaign mission, nothing is really given out as story in the raid. It's what happens at the end of the raid. So once it's beaten, then the cinematic that comes out is what everyone gets to see.
Okay.
But they did one thing I think is really cool. One thing's further. So the problem with doing the raid is you have to have 5 friends or 5 people that you can play with that go through, and you have to have a good couple hours to do sometimes. Later, until everyone kind of figures out how to beat it quickly. But like it took over 20 hours for it to be beat this time.
Wow.
Because this is an all new experience. So when these teams go in for the world's first, as they call it, in competition mode, they're experiencing it for the first time. We've never got any details. So there's new puzzles, there's new boss mechanics, all these things, right? Now, the one thing, though, that Destiny has been doing is in the campaign missions, they give you a sneak peek of some of the raid mechanics.
Like hints, okay.
Yep. You just have to then piece those together and figure out what the fuck you're doing. But then it's not all given to you. There's still some mystery involved. But the base raid mechanics are given to you in those. So that's kind of cool. So the thing they did awesome about it is, once it was beaten, and they verified the winners, they announced who they were, and said, "Hey, we're going to send you championship belts." And that's a real thing, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. And only one team gets it. The world's first gets it. But they usually unlock a cinematic, and there's like an event you usually play, which is like a campaign mission that you go through, and it kind of like sums up the story so far. Mm-hmm. So this time, they come out and they say, "Hey, we're releasing this 12-player match-made event."
Oh, okay.
And this is us taking down the witness.
Okay.
So in the raid, we find out that we broke the hold. The whole thing of the raid was they broke the hold of the witness on the traveler.
Okay.
So the witness no longer has access to the lights, the traveler's light and power.
Okay.
Now the traveler has been erratically damaged because of the merger, and so it's still open. What they refer to as the Pale Heart. It's still an accessible world we can go to, but the witness can no longer alter it. Okay. So this event is literally us battling the witness.
That's cool.
It's fucking cool because it's like a miniature raid. 12 of you, which is insane. It's fucking madness. There's 12 people.
That's the first time that they've ever done something.
Yeah, it's the first ever. Yeah, because the most you've ever had is 6.
Yeah.
Which is a raid, but also like certain events, like, and I'm not talking public event areas where like you could have upwards of like I think 15 or 18 people on a server at a time. Might even be 25. I may be wrong about that, but whatever it is, or 20, but it doesn't matter. Like, that's one thing, but this is like 12 people load in, and it's just pure chaos. Because we're like, everyone at this point has already beat the camp, because the only way to access this is you have to be raid ready, so you have to beat the campaign, and you have to beat this exotic mission to be able to even access this, because this is only accessible after the raid. So you get in, so now you're joining with 11 other fully powered guardians.
That's awesome.
And it's just fucking ham all the time, dude. It's fucking cool as hell. So the first part of it is you basically battle the forces trying to stop you from getting in there, and they're basically protecting you, make your way through, and then the final battle is you are inside the witness's monolith, and you're fighting against the witness themselves, and they're just massive in the background, causing all this damage, and bringing in all these forces, and you're just basically battling, and then you basically, as you get to the damage phase of the boss battle, you fight, literally, you're shooting the witness. Okay. And so people they're doing their damage to like kill you and knock you off the little platform thing, whatever, and it's just pure fucking chaos, dude. And like everyone, I don't know if it was like a zeitgeist thing or what it was. Literally everyone in my group, myself and the other 11 guardians that are in there, all had machine guns for our heavy weapons. So when it came to damage phase, we all just jump up there and just pull out heavy machine guns and just all you hear is brrrr, and it's just gunfire. It's fucking madness, dude. And then like you see people do like if they have like supers that it can affect like from a distance, people will launch them because you can't interact directly with the witness. So if you do it, you're basically dead. Which you can, but like it's not going to do enough damage really to do much. So we're just unloading on them, and you go through the 3 different phases, and then eventually you actually like at the end of each phase, you launch into this thing which is part of the story, where you have to destroy these edifices of all the people who sacrifice themselves to become the witness, and you find out their souls are trapped in these edifices.
Oh. And
the witness basically like essentially made these like eventually Han Solo'd in Carbonite these other beings to then pull their life essence into them to become the witness. And it's in a sacred location, so you're destroying these, setting these souls free, and then separating the witness from the control of the darkness. So not only did the raid you break the hold of the light, now you're doing this to break their hold on the darkness. And so you finally do that, and then you get to the final, and you kill him, and then you get to kill the witness in this event.
Nice.
And at the end of it, if you do the narrative version, because you can play this over and over again, I guess, which is fucking madness in itself. And you do this, you give you an end cinematic where like the happy ending, like the end of the actual story of Light and Dark has technically ended.
Which is weird because you have
a whole year left.
Yeah.
Now in that narrative, they tell you that like the Pale Heart is still accessible. There's this something going on because like there's this aura emanating, or like an aurora of light emanating from the traveler that nobody can no one can figure out. and they're trying to keep people away from it because they don't know if it's going to kill people or do whatever.
Right.
But there's still disciples of the witness, even though they are dead, and there's zealots still that are in there, so that keeps the gameplay going, you know.
Right.
And then Sabathun, one of the other bad guys that actually teamed up with us. And I forgot to mention, right before the cinematic, right before the actual final thing, where the 12-player event is, Zavala leading a charge of every major NPC ever that's still alive in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, it's like Lord of the Rings style, like that final push. Is like they're all there on one side, and the forces of the witness are on the other side of this cavern, and they're about to like take charge. Like they're like, let's fucking go after him. We're gonna kill all these guys. We're gonna handle them, and then we have a select few guardians, the 12 of them, who are basically going to lead their way in to face the witness and destroy them finally. And so like there's a cinematic of like Zavala giving that like fucking like let's go chant, like, you know, like I'm gonna get you all hyped up. And then it's cool because it's like full cinematic, which is something that Destiny has unfortunately gone away from for a lot of things. They do these weird ink blot fucking art motion comic things, which really pisses people off because
Really?
like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but
It must have happened after I quit.
yeah, it was something they did, and I know why, because it's obviously faster and cheaper to do. It's just kind of shitty because like you lose a lot of like the motion capture and cinematicness of it. But you can watch, if you watch any of the recap videos, they'll show those in there, and they're cool looking, but it's like that replaced the cinematics that like we all like fell in love with Destiny 1 and all of like the first half of Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
Was like epic, like cool things, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. So they didn't do that for this end part. They actually did fully like a cinematic part. They did part of it, but the main one was the cinematic still. And so this one, Zavala is like getting ready to lead the charge, and part of the story element is he never really embraced darkness powers, which we have with the stasis and strand, because he didn't believe the darkness. Like he still believed like light was the reason why, but you can't have light without dark, and you can't have dark without light. So you need both.
Jedi thing.
Yep. That would bring me to my thing I'll talk about gameplay after I'm done with this.
Okay.
Which is rad, which is what I love, which is what the final shape is really all about. If you think about it, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So this cinematic is, he's like, hey, these 6 guardians made their way through. They broke her hold on the witness, or on the traveler. She's they no longer have access to the light and light powers. We need to lead this charge. We're gonna hold their forces back, and the guardians are gonna go forward, and they're gonna battle and defeat the witness once and for all.
Okay.
So when he does that, he charges up a stasis super, and the Titan stasis super is they literally get covered in stasis crystals, which looks like ice, and he does the fucking like the Titan leap, where he jumps in the air all powered up and fucking slams in and does an area effect, and that's how the battle starts. So you see all the NPCs running towards the forces in this like cavernous like valley, and he just fucking lands. It's just madness. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Then you go into the fucking event, and it's literally that, because it's you and 11 other guardians just unleashing hell on these. And then like it's so fucking cool, dude. It's so much fun.
Okay.
And then so you basically beat the witness. You go to the happy ending. They go through the ink blot animation thing of showing all the major non-fighting NPCs, but also the NPCs, like they're kind of like wrapping up their stories, and all these things like that. And then you go to an actual cinematic of like in the Lost City, and you're in the tower, and everything's kind of peaceful. And people are setting off those like lanterns, those like floating lantern things.
Okay.
And it goes to Zavala, Ikora, and then eventually Crow joins them. And through the story, you find out that Crow has now accepted the mantle of Hunter Vanguard.
Okay.
That was held by previously by Cade and no one since then. But Cade asks him, part of the story, to take over the mantle. He's like, "You're ready. And normally there's a thing called a dare, which is basically like if someone kills the hunter vanguard, they have the right to take over. So he has it twofold. Once is Aldrin technically killed Cade, so he has the right to take that, but he's not a guard. He's not a light bearer, so he technically couldn't be in the vanguard. But Crow is Aldrin because of story events. Doesn't matter. So he then Cade asks him to take over. It's like, you may not think you're ready, but I wasn't either. I did my best. You will too. And he gives him a brand new cloak. And so he shows up. He has an all new hairstyle, which should make some people happy, and also mad because it's a man bun versus his emo hair he's been having. Okay. And he's wearing the new cloak that Cade gave him. And you realize he's now part of the Vanguard. And he joins with Zavala and Ikora. And then you show up, and they kind of give you like hey, this is the witness is gone. They are dead. We've severed their tie to both light and dark. Their zealot forces are still around in the Pale Heart, but Savathun is still out there trying to wreak havoc and do things too. So her forces are in there, and all the other ones, because leading up to this, there's different factions that were basically working with the Witness. So there's all factions. There's Fallen, Vex, Cabal. All of them are still in there. So you always have these different enemy types you're going to fight against. Which is obviously story element to help with the gameplay continue. But that's kind of how it wraps up. We literally wrap up the story of the Light and Dark saga with that 12-person event.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's over. It's done for. If it's crazy because you can literally just play that portion of the final shape and just that expansion, get the new subclass, which I'll go over in a minute. Gather all the new weapons. You have access to the raid. You'll eventually have access to the new strike. Unless you buy the episode pass, you won't have access to the dungeon, but that's because they want to tie that to a paid to play type thing.
Right.
And again, the dungeon, much like a lot of things, don't have anything to do with the story. They're just kind of a thing you can go through and just play to kill a bunch of things and solve puzzles and get loot, whatever. So that's definitely more of a extra stuff. We want you to pay extra for this. But yeah, so you're essentially done with it, and then I'm guessing the episodes coming forward are going to be dealing with the different groups along with the whatever's happening. And maybe this leads into Destiny 3, or some people have speculated that's going to lead into what they refer to as Destiny, which is a continuing kind of like World of Warcraft, open world type thing, where you have every few years they release new fucking story content, but it's basically just a big open world you battle in. Is that going to happen? I don't know.
Right.
The Pale Heart kind of makes me think it is, but it would need to be a lot bigger than that, and they would need to release every location ever released in Destiny needs to come back, because
God, that would be a huge game.
Yeah, the only reason why is because you just the reason why they sunsetted so many things is because you would run out of things to do.
Yeah.
So, anywho, that's cool. The new playable area is cool because it's different environments, different bad guys, and they have this thing called it's a giant public event, which I don't know if something's broken or whatever, but I have yet to see another player in the public space so far. At all. So I have beat the campaign and I've gone into the public space. I've yet to see any other player. So I don't know if it's a thing where I'm not
dependent on how many people have beat the game,
which if goes by anything, there was a ton of people doing the raid and a ton of people playing that final event, but I was able to do I thought I was in the public space after that event. Today or yesterday when I was playing before I jumped on with Taj to do campaign stuff because he hasn't got that far yet. But I still have yet to run into anybody else. So I thought, is it broken? So I went to another place and there was Guardians there, outside the Pale Heart. So I don't know.
They're just not loading in the public place.
Yeah, so I don't know if we just haven't got to the point where everybody has access to it yet, or if the pale heart is literally just me.
No, it's a good point. That
Anybody who I bring
just
with
a
me.
place for you, yeah.
Yeah, so if I have a fire team that goes with me, if I like go with Taj or whatever, he would be in there with me, but we wouldn't run into another Guardian.
Weird.
Yeah, and what's strange about it is, in each of the major areas, there is this event. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like this focusing of the dark, and like and stuff like that, where like different enemy types are like gathering.
Okay.
And you basically there's 4 stages of it, and as you defeat more enemies, it increases the density and the difficulty. And so eventually you get to the 4th round, and a big boss comes out with a boss mechanic you have to go through. I've done that 4 or 5 times now, all by myself because no one's around.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do it. It's not that tough to do. But it's just weird because, like, it would be, I think it would go a lot quicker if you had multiple people, because I can do it within like 15-20 minutes. I can go through all 4 phases of it. And then it just resets after 5 minutes, and then you can do it again. But I'm like, this would be kind of madness if you had like 4 or 5 other Guardians running around here too.
Yeah.
So it's very strange. I don't know if it's just like a thing they've gated off and said, hey, like this, like no one can. We're not going to have public areas in these just yet, because they're all public events. Like they have the public event banner on them. When you go to them and you start the instance, it's just unlike a normal public event where it has like a countdown for 5 minutes and then it starts. These are like, as soon as you interact with it, it starts it. So I don't know if it's like the game just stopping itself from breaking because it'd be too busy. I don't know. It's very strange.
Or it's just meant for you and who you might be actually grouped with.
Which is cool, because if that's what it was, this would be way funner. if I didn't have to deal with randos power spamming or taking kills and all that stuff, like it would just be dope.
I mean, obviously they have to try it with Taj when he gets caught up.
Yeah, so it's very strange, but I enjoy a lot because I don't like randos, and I'm like, well, this is cool because I don't really need in the public space. It's not too difficult to do, so I don't really need other people. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but I'll get to why it's not right now, because with this new subclass they introduced called Prismatic, it's a blend of both light and dark powers. And so when you do this, you literally have a mishmash of like the light subclasses and the dark subclasses. And you get to choose a super of ones you unlock. The first one they unlock for you was a void one, which is fine because at least it was the big void fucking blob thing. But then like as you progress through the game, you're unlocking the other subclasses.
Okay.
Then when you get through the campaign, you get to a certain point where you get a brand new subclass for each character class.
Okay.
So there's one for the hunters, one for the titans, and one for the warlock, and each one's a slightly new variation of one of the other subclasses. So warlock's got solar, titans got what do they got void, and then hunters got arc.
Okay.
And those new ones are like the warlock super is drastically overpowered. So it's essentially a abilities like spam. So normally when you're playing the game, there's ways to increase how fast you can get your powered melee and your grenade. This literally supercharges those, so you can keep just alternating your power melee grenade, and then each one of those is amped up even more. Okay. So the powered melee is the incinerator snap, which basically shoots out these little fireballs that literally incinerate red bar or like basic bad guys, but also like cause scorch and ignition on bigger enemies. But then you throw out your grenade and it's a literal phoenix, like a fire phoenix that flies around and like hits multiple bad guys in a row.
Nice.
So it'll go through trash mobs and doesn't weaken. It literally just goes through and then hits like a bigger target and does like exceedingly amount of damage to them, and causes them to be scorched and ignite. So they erupt. They cause area effect damage themselves. So I literally pop it and I just start clearing everything around just by snapping and throwing this fucking firebird out. and everything around dies. And I did not tell Taj about it yet.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, my new super is cool. I'll show it to you. So we were playing last time. We get to the boss area of the Lost Sector we're going to, and all these bad guys. And I was like, here it goes. And I pop it, and he's like, what the fuck is happening? Because everything around is just either burning or blowing up. And he's like, holy shit. And I was like, wait, do you see this? And I just kept doing it, and the boss is just literally on fire the entire time, just blowing up. So every time new bad guys come into the arena, they just get incinerated. And he's like,
Nice.
holy shit. And I was like, brother, it's awesome. It is fucking ridiculous. But then
awesome.
With the prismatic subclass, you get like a mini super, and it's basically like a new grenade type and a new damage buff you get. And so the new grenade type is literally a grenade that is like a combo of one light grenade and one dark grenade. You don't get to choose; they choose for you, which is kind of dumb. But there's a reason why they do it. Because they make it so it's not just like you don't throw one grenade and then the other. You throw one grenade and it has both abilities in it. So the one the warlocks get is a void stasis grenade. So when you throw it, it's a mixture of those two things. One is the void grenade where it sucks bad guys into it. Then the other one is the stasis grenade, which is a big dome that freezes everything inside of it. So it draws bad guys into it and then freezes them.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, and the whole thing with Prismatic is it wants you to use both light and dark abilities, but also light and dark powered weapons. Mm-hmm. And you build 2 meters, a light meter and a dark meter. And as you build them both, they meet like this. Boop. Literally, they do this and form one bar. And once that's filled, you can unleash the Prismatic ability, which gives you that bonus, the damage bonus, and your weird grenade thing you get, and your melee gets kind of like juiced up as well. But you still get all of your other stuff. You can still use your class ability. So like I have like my Healing Rift or Empowering Rift or Phoenix Dive or whatever. You have all that, and then there's enemies that are prismatic shielded, so you have to use your prismatic to break their shield to do damage to them. So there's that, but it's just crazy because you can really build your build you're supposed to, where you have light and dark abilities as well as your guns can have both, so you can build those meters together, and then you pretty much always can get prismatic pretty easily by killing trash mobs and bad guys with just your weapons and abilities, and those will passively go up. But then there's like artifact mods you can get that will increase that, different things. But yeah, dude, I'm like pretty much I figured out this weird build where like I have a exotic glove that lets me absorb a arc grenade and create it into an arc buddy, like a little soul that shoots out arc shots.
Okay.
But then one of the abilities you get in with the prismatic subclass is if you use your subclass ability that's solar, you get it's called molten, and it's a little flame, like a molten lava buddy. Okay. So I can have both those up at the same time, and they just do damage. So one shoots a bunch of arc shots all fucking fast. The other one literally lobs little things of like lava.
Okay.
So I have these, and I didn't tell Taj about that either. So we're in this battle, and I launched him. He goes, "What are those things following you?" I was like, "Those are my little buddies," and I'm just fucking wrecking shop. And I'm killing him so fast that he does not have time to kill anything. He's like, "Bro, dude, can I kill something?" And I was like, "No!" And I kept running around. Then I was like, "I won't fire a shot." So I launched both of them, and I just run, and those are literally killing everything around. Because I don't have to shoot anything, because they're just like literally doing so much damage that because eventually once you get like amped up, electrical damage causes arc, and arc will travel from enemy to enemy. So then it literally sends the arc damage further and further over, and every time I absorb my grenade, I become amplified, so that automatically happens. And then because I'm doing damage with my melee, my grenade gets recharged. So as soon as 15 seconds of that is up, I just reabsorb another grenade and have another arc buddy. And if I do it fast enough, I can actually have 2 up for a couple seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I launch my subclass and I have my Molten dude back, and it's literally just that nonstop. It's fucking crazy, dude. Like, it is.
Yeah.
And it's not even like this is broken. Destiny basically told me how to do this. Like, they're like, hey, this is a thing. So if you know what certain items do, you can kind of manipulate this in a way. And I was like,
Well, it just sounds like, hey, we're end game, so we're just going to allow you to be as OP as possible.
and that's how it should have been for like years now.
It should have been, yes.
And Prismatic, and what's crazy about Prismatic is you don't get any of the supers. You get to choose which one you want, but you have access to one of each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Song of Fire is the one that I have now, which is the new one. That one is dumb. It's so dumb. Like the I think it's the most ridiculous of the 3 new ones, because like the Hunter one is this new like essentially like teleport one where you basically throw a knife and it teleports you to the location of the knife, and then you do like an area effect damage.
Interesting. Okay.
So you do that several times and your super's up. You're like that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the blade barrage, but instead of just being in the back and throwing your blades, you throw the blade and then you appear where the blade landed, and then you do an area effect. So you do that into a trash mob, kill one of them with that, and maybe do like I think it does like maybe it does an area effect like status up like change, probably like cause them to like have like panic attacks or whatever, and then you appear out of nowhere and you spin in a circle and just destroy everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that, and then the Titans, called Twilight Arsenal, I believe it's called, and they basically when they power up, they create a void axe that they can throw, and every time you throw it, it hits for a massive amount of damage, and then extra axes appear on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So you throw it, it hits, it lands. You do that as many times as you want, as you can in your in that time, and every time you hit, that axe lands. You can go pick it up and then do actual physical damage with this axe until like, the timer's up.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking wild, dude. But yeah, the fucking I don't want to be biased because I'm a Warlock guy, like a Warlock main for life. You know what I mean? But that Warlock one is fucking ridiculous, dude.
Okay.
It's if you just look up just a YouTube video, and I'll post one on the site. If you look up Destiny 2 Song of Fire and watch that gameplay, it is fucking ridiculous, dude.
Okay.
Because not only that, but when you're in your super, you still have access to your subclass. So if I do my subclass, which is right now I have it set to Phoenix Dive, because it launches faster and has a refresh that's faster, I get the little Molten Buddy. So then I have the little Molten Buddy, and I'm literally just spamming my powered melee and grenade over and over again while he's launching fire at everybody. So I'm literally just turning the fucking landscape into fire and death.
That's cool.
Because the build I had before used another exotic where if I get a powered melee kill, I get unlimited grenades for like 5 seconds. So I just keep launching, and the grenade I had was like this little fucking sun that when it lands, one of the artifact mods lets it shoot off little projectiles. So I would just cover the area in those, and a lot of times I'd throw them against walls and just shoot off fucking fire. This one's way better because I can literally just like, if in my super I can do that, but in my normal, like in a gameplay loop, I can go through a whole phase of bad guys with both the Molten Buddy and the Arc Buddy the entire time. And because of different mods, I'm getting cured from grenade kills, which count as my little buddy. And also because I'm amplified, I'm getting arc souls that come back and fire sprites. It's just this weird gameplay of like almost being invincible.
That sounds like it. That's awesome.
It's fucking and I was like, I don't even have to like charge in anymore. I can just like do it, and then like if I really want to amp it up, I use my my strand melee, which shoots out a little like threadling dart that kills pretty much anything that's not like if it's a red bar, it just instantly kills and leaves a threadling ball there, which is part of the stasis thing, or I mean the strand thing, and I can shoot with a strand weapon, and it causes unraveling, which is a debuff, and it does damage over time, and because that is affecting, my other abilities automatically affect him as well. So arc and solar are amped up by that because they're already debuffed. It's pure madness, dude. I don't understand why it took them this long to give it this, because it would be, I can't imagine, I haven't watched any raid videos yet, but I'm pretty sure everybody in there is prismatic for the most part, because it's just utter chaos.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It's just, yeah, dude, it's fucking wild, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I don't know enough about the solar or the hunter and titan builds yet, because I don't know their exotics too well, and I have to watch some videos to even figure it out. But I'm sure someone's already done build videos for him. But it's just, bro, dude, I'm gonna find a video that maybe will help me kind of maximize what I have right now. But with like the exotic gloves I have and the or the mods already, it's pure. If I can get away to like get maybe an overshield or something or whatever, but like it's fucking wild.
Sounds like you're having fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And then the other thing too is, I forgot to mention this one, and this will be the last thing I bring up. Part of the campaign is you get this new subclass, but you unlock the different artifacts, or not artifacts. What are they called? Part of the thing, anyways, the basically mods that let you add new abilities or extend your abilities by like collecting orbs of light or whatever it is. And then when you do that, it like adds new like recharge to this or recharge to that or whatever. So there's a lot of those. But as you play through the game, in the public space, again, it's supposed to be public. I've not run in any other public, but you find these prismatic chests, and there's little puzzles you have to figure out to open it, and that unlocks a new one of those. And so you just as you're playing through the area, you stumble upon one of those, and then you figure out the puzzle, unlock it, and then you get to get that new mod.
Nice.
That you can then, kind of manipulate and figure out what those do and things like that. So it's pretty wild, dude. It's like it's real fun. There's a lot to do and a lot to unlock, and there's like obviously lots of gear to get and stuff like that. So it's just, so far it's a lot of fun, but we'll see how it goes through as they slowly release more and more of the episodes. We'll see how that kind of unfolds and what they do with it, because so far it's pretty fun. And like the amount of exotic weapons they've already given us is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think so far I've unlocked. They give you part of the season pass, the season pass in general, paid or free. You can unlock the Crimson Death, which is an old pulse rifle from Destiny 1 that's been reprised.
Okay.
Super dope gun. Plus, it looks cool because it's covered in blood. It has a big old knife on the front of it.
Nice.
You get that if you do the paid episode pass, you get it right away. If you don't and you do the free one, you get it halfway through. So you're still going to get it as long as you play the season. Then there's an exotic mission for a new sniper rifle that's essentially a golden gun.
Nice.
So as you use it, you either get precision kills or picks up orbs of light, which is easy to do nowadays. It charges the super bar of the gun, which is weird. The gun has supercharged, but it does. And once you fill that up, you launch it, and you get 3 golden gun shots out of it.
Nice.
Just like a hunter does with a golden gun, but it's a sniper rifle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, fucking wild. There's a new sword that is not even a heavy. It's a fucking secondary weapon that's got different. It can roll with different subclass abilities. So like it's either arc, solar, or void. I was like, that's fucking wild. And has some other thing that does too, which I don't even know because I haven't looked into it yet. There's the very first auto rifle you get in Destiny 1 has come back as a legendary weapon, but also can be upgraded to an exotic weapon. So that's coming out. There's a new exotic armor pieces for every class. Like it's just, bro, it's fucking wild right now, dude. It's fucking crazy. There's like, let's unleash hell. Let's just do it. Fuck it. This is the end, right?
Right. Yeah.
So might as well. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like I was pretty excited just to finish the story, and then I started playing this and finding out more of this nonsense they're doing, and I'm like, I'm so fucking down for this. It's kind of ridiculous.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah, it's a hell of a change. But yeah, so that's basically it. I think I missed some stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking cool, my dude.
Sounds like it.
But that'll be it for this week's episode, because we are now over an hour.
Yeah.
Of me ranting about this.
You had fun.
Yeah. So that has been this week's episode of Comes Naturally. We have been
Joe.
I've been Cody, and as usual, you fuckers just came naturally.
Bye.